I forgive myself. I forgive myself for everything I've done in my life, for all the failures that I have had in my life. And this is not acting. This is not crocodile tears. It is as it is. And I'm on the floor. I'm not like usual people. They go on their floors and they tape themselves crying. I can't tape myself before I cry. I was crying a moment ago, I can tell you that. Curling up in this floor, having panic attacks and fighting with all my thoughts of my mind. And God is with me, but I'm just trying to explain what I'm going through. And I'm just expressing myself right now. Because no one knows what I go through. Nobody knows what I've gone through. You know how many times I've cried like this in my life. These last 4 or 5 years, I've been crying like this many times. No one's seen that. I only see the happy me, the strong me, the restored and recovered me. When God helps me. But no one sees these sides of me. No one sees the hardships that I go through. No one sees that part of my life. No one sees what I had to go through. Jesus Christ is King. Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus is Lord. And I just want to tell you, I've been talking about my life with my family. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna try to calm down to talk. I'm gonna try. But here, I'm just, going through all the things I've gone through in my life. Thinking things I shouldn't think of, but I just got here. I just got here. Now I have to do it. Now I have to do it. And I need to share it. I need to share it. Because no one gets, okay? And this is supposed to be a shame. This is supposed to make me a reject, a failure. This is supposed to... This... Look, I've had more than 20 jobs in my life. From 2014 to 2024. I am in the workplace and side hustles, mainly working customer service jobs. Some involving sales, appointment setting, marketing, back office, management training. Very successful trainer, cashier, disputes, as a server in restaurants, food service, hotels, captioning, a hostess, a cook, server, inventory, marketing, cold calling. I even was able to get into the government. I work with cell phones, receptionist, food orders, billing, disputes, tech support, interpreter. Because I'm bilingual, Spanish and English. I try to get good jobs. Sanding wooden cabinets, where I worked 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., almost 55 hours sometimes a week. Working with other Mexicans. I was only white chick, only American. There's one American dude, and I was the only American girl. That's always been the story of my life. I'm the only American girl, the white girl of my family. All my family is brown skin. I always wanted to have brown skin because I don't feel like I fit in. That's one of the issues. My identity of hating my own race. And at some point, maybe I hated all races, okay? At some point, I learned a lot about racial harmony and 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 those things. That I'll talk to you about that later. But I've worked in hotels. I've had more 20 jobs in my life, and not just that. School. I've had studied initial studies in psychology, international marketing, logistics, engineered systems. I tried to be a nurse, a doctor, or engineer, or even try to study criminalistics. I wasn't able to finish it. I didn't even finish the first semester in all these studies that I went to. I went to 5 different colleges, and I'm in debt. I owe like, I don't know. I'm not sure if 5K or more. And I didn't finish it. I wasn't able to do it. I kept on getting out of school, or something always ended up happening. In jobs, I couldn't keep a job because many times I was fired. Sometimes I was fired, or I was stressed out, or pressured, or something happened, and I had to leave. One or two jobs. One of the jobs in hotels, they kicked me out. They even walked me out the hotel. Like if I had done something, like if I was like a, like if I was some kind of, you know, uh, criminal. I've been treated like a criminal many times in my life. I've been treated like a criminal many times. I've walked into stores here, and security guards start calling security guards everywhere. And I even got kicked out a few times where they asked me to leave. Most of the time they accuse me falsely. I've been homeless many times since I'm a child. I've traveled more than 19 states as a child. I mainly lived in Tennessee, Mississippi, Colorado, and Florida. I was homeless. I even slept in cars, trains, buses. One time in a parking lot, stuff like that, with my mother. Left me and neglected me many times. My mother and my father didn't raise me because the devil took them also. My mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia, paranoia, and was driving in a car. We were running away from things that she felt that were persecuting us. The police was persecuting us, according to her. And we ended up being caught by the police. She got caught and got taken to the mental hospital, which she escaped. And I was taken to a foster care, which I almost went to foster care by a social worker, but my grandparents went after me from Mississippi to Texas to get me at age 10 or 11. Age 10 and 11, I went to Panama, came to Panama, and I was raised here in Panama since age 11. And I've lived in many places. I've lived here in Panama, and in this since my 20s, going out of house, I tried to be independent. Since 18, I'm like, okay, I'm not letting my family take care of me. I'm gonna go ahead and go work and try to be independent by myself, and earn my own money. My grandparents insisted that I stayed with them until I finished school, but I didn't let that happen. I tried to go to work by myself and pay my own school. I didn't do that. Instead I tried to move out and everything, and I got a job and everything. I've lived in, I haven't finished writing that, but I've lived in many places, and many things happened to me also. I've been kicked out of many places. I've messed up. Either I've messed up, or I feel like life has been unfair to me, or I've had bad luck, or been falsely accused, and things don't make sense to me. And it's like I try and I try, and I toil and I toil, and I haven't been able to make it through in my relationships in every area. Messed up everywhere, and it's like I try and I've tried and I've tried, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I've been, curse the devil, I bless Jesus. Jesus Christ is Lord. I was, I've been, then people ask me, where are you from? How do I answer that? How do you want me to answer that? Where are you from? ¿De dónde eres? Oh, you're from Panama? And they think I'm a Latina or Mexican. And they think I have that Latina mentality. Then Latino asks me, but they think I'm American sometimes. And then they think I'm a white girl with a white mentality. When I'm neither. I don't have a white girl mentality or a Latina girl mentality. I don't fit in. And then they ask me if I'm from here. And then I don't adapt to the culture of any place. Like, are you from Panama? I don't have the Panamanian slang. I used to when I was a child, but I feel very independent of my own identity to express myself how I am. But people hate that, of me being honest and true to myself. They hate that. And I try to, in the US, like, I don't know. It's like, I wish I was like a different color or something. But then at the same time, I hate the world the way it is, and I wish people can just stop. Anyways, what was it? I lived in. I've been back and forth from trying to go to the USA to escape poverty, to escape the bad situation in my life, to move forward, to prosper, to help my family, to help my mother that is mentally ill, to help my grandparents who have lived in poverty, and I haven't been able to do it. Since 2014, I haven't been able to 2024, and it's been 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Wait, Crystal, bless Jesus. I lost count because of the I'm battling in my mind, and I have to count again. Excuse me. I curse the devil. I bless Jesus. So, see, I count that again. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's been 11 years. 11 years lost. And I've had more than 20 jobs. There's a lot of work. Not just the jobs. Imagine all the harassments, the discriminations, the firing, crying for every time they fired me. The false accusations, the bad judgments, the spiritual warfare I endured through each place. Going in and out, moving from place to place, not having my own place, stability in my life, order, not being able to pay my debt, which I'm trying to pay off because I got stupid bills and debt since 2020, messed up my credit since then because I was in a narcissistic abusive relationship back then that messed up my mind completely, and I started making really bad stupid decisions. I was depressed, but etc., blah blah blah. And I got all those bills still. Been trying to pay it off. I haven't been able to. It's like 20K. I've accumulated, actually. Desperate for money. Trying to not be greedy. Trying to be humble. Trying to understand myself. Trying to not be racist. Trying to understand racial harmony and my own identity of who I am. When I come here, when I go there. The bills, the debt. So that, and then I'm sick on top of all that right now. My kidneys are failing. I have kidney failure, heart failure, GERD, all of these mental issues, spiritual warfare. I've been diagnosed with, I've dealt with almost all mental illness you can think of, from paranoia, PTSD, severe PTSD, anxiety, panic attacks, schizophrenia, schizoaffective. I've been called bipolar, BPD, delusional, anger issues, screaming issues, tantrums, um, which for me was reactive abuse. And from all the places I got kicked out, let me see, in Texas, let me see. First I went to Capira. I lived here in Panama, went to Bella Vista, got fired, moved back, got money, went to Tennessee with my mother, did some bad decisions, stupid decisions, came back to Panama, made stupid decisions, went back to Colorado, stayed there for 4 years, most stable time of my life, which is where I came to Christ from 2018, 19 over there, 20. So when I encountered Christ again, because I came to Christ at 2000, when I was 13, 14 years old. It's the first time I came to Christ. Because I was practicing incest with a cousin that I was not supposed to do. But then I was convicted, confronted with those sins, and I repented, came to Christ. My first time I repented was at age 11 when I first time masturbated at home alone. I was left neglected. And I bled, and I felt guilty, and I asked God sorry for the first time alone. And I felt a heat come all over me, and I felt like I was cleansed. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know the gospel at that moment. I just knew that God had forgiven me. That was the first time. I was always taken to church and spoken to about God and stuff, and watched Christian cartoons, veggie, whatever, when I was a kid. And I loved church a lot, and I had visions, and God used to talk to me when I was a kid. I had these experiences, but I never understood it until I came to Christ at 13, 14 years old after repenting from what I was doing with my cousin, and came to Christ strongly. But then I, I, I left the faith again at 18 years old, And for 7 years, I was I had was doing things on my own the wrong way and stuff. And that's where in Colorado, when God took me back, He came back to me and spoke to me and delivered me from that depression I was going through that time, healed me from the abuse I had gone through with my ex, which is where God had first time came back again. From never since I said I was never gonna leave again ever, and so I haven't. But it's not been easy. I'm telling you, it's not been easy. And this was the hardest season of my life. And since I came to Christ again, I said, I'm gonna try until where you allow me, because I felt like I was unsavable because of how terrible I was, and I thought it was almost impossible to change me. You know, because the devil just tries to continually trick me, plot against me, attack me really strongly, cause me to sin, where they falsely accuse me of something that's not true. Then all of a sudden, I'm tricked to doing that sin where I was not. Then that damages my character, my identity, where I carry on with that. I'm like, this was not part of me. Now I have to be resilient and leave my pride. And even though it's unfair, because I didn't start it, this is not true, and then I have to end up repenting from it because God's word is true. And I understand. I understand the gospel. I understand how this works. And I struggle way much. I am not the best Christian. I am not the best Christian because of how much inconsistency I've had in my walk, is what I've cried about. I'm fighting against. I was Colorado for 4 years, came back to Panama again, went back to Texas for a year, came back to Panama, right? Went back to Texas, and now back in Panama. And now I'm planning to go again because it's been 5 months since I've been here, 4 or 5 months, where I have not been hired. This whole year, 2024, has sucked for me terribly. 2023 was beautiful, supernatural. I was living in the glory of God. I really felt I was special. And now this 2024 makes me feel like I'm just this average. Like I'm just trying to convince God to accept me kind of deal. Trying to get my life back together and just trying to figure out my identity. Trying to figure out where I went wrong. Trying to figure out what do I need to fix. What's put my life in order. And pin down all these things that are difficult to meditate on. Got all these jobs, 20 plus jobs. You can blame me for many of the times where I was fired. The Meridian, I left it because I was stressed. Blue Bay, I left it because I moved out of the country. Alorica, one time I was fired because someone was racist towards me, and I did a mistake. I was angry, got defensive. They told on me. They were unfair. Constellation, because I was having spiritual attacks, witchcraft. I was being sexually attacked and I wasn't able to fight it back, and I had to leave the job. I had to leave the job to attack because of the spiritual attacks I was receiving. I had to leave that job. To fight it. And I had to do fastings and prayers and all kinds of stuff. I didn't even sleep. I was suffering. I have more than 66 testimonies of what God has done for me, miracles that I've lived in supernatural things. Like, I've been done with many supernatural things. Like, you see this light? I don't know if you can notice it. I know if it's the light of the window or something's going on here. I don't know. I really feel like it's light because I can feel some kind of light around me. Because I can feel like my arms get cold. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a power or energy, something supernatural that's calming me down while I'm talking about all this. Being chosen. Being chosen. When I say I'm chosen, I'm not saying it proudly. When I'm saying I'm chosen, I mean all this. All this. That's just, I'm not finished. Having a narcissistic family. All the spiritual attacks. The witchcraft, the witches I've dealt with. I've had to fight a few. I can remember at least 8 witches. Satanists or witches where I rebuke it. In Jesus. Lord Jesus. I've had to fight against, which I was able to do in the time where I was able. And of course, it's God's glory. Uh, and with warriors, I've met a few warriors. I know how to. How to see when they're warriors. I know who they are. Sometimes I can. But yeah, I was. I went to Tennessee with my mom. In Panama, went to Colorado, came back to Panama, was suffering, had a brain stroke in 2020, had COVID, almost died. Texas, they almost killed me. Have knife here and over here. Some lady tried to kill me, chasing me with my Bible in my hands. And I was crying. I said, God, why have you left me? And it just makes me think what Jesus said in the cross. I didn't try to say that because I was imitating. It was just, I felt like I was abandoned in that moment. But God had not abandoned me. But I had felt that way. I was crying. But then I felt God's peace. I don't know. But then they almost tried to kill me in Texas. I was in a shelter. Many times I was in danger a few times. God saved me and delivered me from the witches.